Hello and welcome to On Location with Grady MacTavish. Here, we're celebrating a birthday. We're celebrating a birthday with Aaron Mathias. Aaron, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're one of the bright spots. I'm sorry, that's just really hot. You're one of the bright spots in our community. You do so much, and you also own Corlane Sporting Goods, which is a family-owned business. And you're also, you've been a teacher and you've done a number of different things. I'm just entranced by this, sorry. And I just wanted to celebrate in the best way I know how. So the awkward thing is, I actually had a surprise party meant for you here. I didn't get it done though.
Oh.
So what I would like for you to do with me is we're actually going to work on the surprise party together.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, so we're gonna blow some balloons. This sparkler is gonna burn in my hand for a bit longer, and then we're gonna go from there, okay? While we talk and answer some questions.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. So how old are you turning? Do you mind me asking that?
I'll be 44. Well, I am 44 today.
44? So what was your favorite birthday you've gotten so far?
Oh, man. Good question. Each one gets better and better.
Yeah.
None in particular stand out that, wow, that was the best birthday I've ever had. It's just each year life gets better.
Yeah.
And other than being older and making more noise when I get up in the morning,
Yeah.
each birthday's better and better.
Better and better. So you have a plan. You have a plan after for dinner, right?
Yeah, we do, yeah. It's a family birthday party at my 92-year-old grandmother's place.
Oh wow, excellent.
Yeah. She was actually the original owner of Corlane Sporting Goods.
And so that's actually a great segue into what I wanted to talk about, which is,
Could you have picked a louder thing for us to do while interviewing?
I was going to say, also, I realized I can't blow a balloon before this started. How do you do it?
It's all in the lips. It's more in the cheeks, actually. Keep the cheeks tight. These cheeks.
These cheeks, okay.
Well, both?
Either or.
Both.
Hopefully,
keep the air
both.
in.
Yeah.
I feel it in the abs too, actually.
I kind of got a little bit of it. This is my dainty little one. But back to Corlane Sporting Goods. So this was owned by your family, correct?
Correct.
When did they open it?
So historically, actually, Corlane's was started by two gentlemen whose last names were Courtmeyer and Lane. And that's where the name Corlane came from.
Okay.
But they were only in business for a year or so when my grandfather, who moved here from the Okanagan to go to work for the Hudson Bay Company to run their sporting goods division, he was here for about a year, didn't like his boss at the Hudson Bay, and saw Corlane Sporting Goods that was a fresh business, went up for sale. So he actually met with, I want to say Carl Courtmeyer. Anyone out there in the community can correct me if I'm wrong on that. In Dairy Queen, and actually wrote out a bill of sale on basically a napkin. And my mom found that napkin here just not too long ago, going through a bunch of old papers to buy the whole business.
There's nothing that's more Dawson Creek than doing that at the Dairy Queen.
At the Dairy Queen, yeah. And at that point, Corlane Sporting Goods was hockey skates and badminton rackets, baseball, and hunting, fishing, camping.
Right.
And when Grandpa took over it, he cut out half of it and just focused on hunting, fishing, camping. So
was that just because it was his interest, or he wanted to kind of focus it in on that, particularly for a business decision?
It's a great question. I don't actually have that answer. I think it was a bit of both. I mean, for him, fishing was his passion. He loved fishing, and he was into hunting and stuff like that too. But I think it was more just narrow down the business. If you try and sell too many products all at once, you may not do one well. So he just wanted to focus on the outdoor sports.
Right.
So that was kind of his focus.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So then when did, because you worked here as a youngster, right?
Yeah, I used to actually, when I was 7 years old, I used to empty the ashtrays and sweep the floor for Grandpa one day a week after school. My mom would pick me up and bring me down.
Right.
And actually before that, I think at 6, I was digging worms and selling to him for fishing bait.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was kind of my first. I'd sell them for, I don't know, $1, and he'd sell them for $1.50, and that's kind of how I started at 6, and then got into sweeping the floors and emptying the ashtrays. And I mean, that tells you how long ago ashtrays in a business, right? Send the child in to dump the ashtray. I was half a pack by the time I was 9.
That's the way things went back then.
One of the coolest things, though, is so it was on Wednesdays that my mom would pick me up, drop me off at Coeur Lanes. And if it was a slow Wednesday, Grandpa would, after I got done my 1 hour of work from 3:30 to 4:30, he'd actually close the store and walk me down to the Windsor Cafe, which is no longer in business.
Yeah.
And I'd have a hot chocolate and he'd have a coffee.
Yeah.
And once a month, Chester Resniak, who had the very first cabin at Powder King, and Chester's Challenge is named after him, he would come into town and he'd sit and tell stories about exploring the outdoors and the whole, we'll call it the Heart Lake area or Powder King area, hiking, digging up. Business still running while we're doing this, but
nothing bad with that.
But yeah, so I mean, I'd sit and listen to Chester's stories and Grandpa's stories, and I still have fond memories. And Chester has been forever immortalized out of Powder King.
Oh, really?
And one of his old European ski suits is up on the wall and stuff too.
Oh, really?
Cool old history of Dawson Creek from the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Wow, wow. Well, and this too, like this store is like the name and the place is also, you know, a relic from our past and really important for our past as well, right? And speaking of the past, you didn't, you know, jump into the family business right away. Also, you're killing me in the balloon department. I let go of this. So that was my one claim to fame. You've got me at 5 now, dude.
I used to play saxophone when I was in elementary school,
You
so
got
the lung
lungs.
capacity. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that because you didn't, you know, you were working like odd jobs here in the store and whatnot, but you actually didn't start by owning the business right out of high school or anything like that. You actually were a teacher, correct?
Yeah, so when I graduated from high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up, but I didn't think it was be tied into Coeur Lanes because this was a family business that I'd spent my entire life part of. And even though I enjoyed the outdoors, I knew I didn't want to do this forever because it's all I had ever really done. Yeah. And in high school, I actually worked for my dad. He had a Mountain Bobcat Services, and I actually was doing more of a hard labor thing, running equipment and throwing a shovel around and digging dirt. And when I graduated from high school, I worked for him for 2 years and was just running heavy equipment. And decided that wasn't what I wanted to do forever. And actually, I gotta give credit to my father for saying, hey, you should get into teaching. I love working with kids. I love doing those sorts of things. So I thought, you know what, it would be kind of a cool profession. So I decided to get into the education field, and Northern Lights College here in town offers an ACO program, which is basically a northern program designed to get people from the north to stay and teach in the north.
Oh, wow.
And so as anyone that's been part of the school system here knows, teachers come and go from the coast. 100%. They come up here, they put in a year or two to get their feet dirty, and then they head back down south again, build a little seniority. Right. So this was kind of a northern opportunity that you can get educated in the north for the north, and hopefully you'll stick around. Right. So I went to Northern Lights College, did the ACO program, went down to Simon Fraser, and then came back up and had plans to move back to Vancouver. And every summer I'd come back and work in the patch and pay off my next year's schooling. And I just was about to move south, and because I had a girlfriend down there, and then things kind of dissolved there. And before I know it, I had the superintendent phone me and offered me a position teaching in Chetwynd, actually. Right. And I had zero want to move to Chetwynd, and so I turned it down. Right. She called me back and said, we need you in 4 days to start working there. And so she offered me a continuing contract and a place to stay if I needed to. And there were 3 other teachers that just took on positions that week. And so the 4 of us commuted every day for a year, and I taught out in Chetwynd at the high school. And I mean, to begin with, my goal wasn't to teach high school. I was thinking I wanted to be upper elementary, where you've got the kids all day. You build those relationships. Being an outdoor person, I wanted to do the outdoor thing. Yeah. Part of my practicum was an outdoor experience where I took students from Central, actually, grade 7, out and did a 5-day winter survival course out in the Gwillem Lake here. One of our school district 59 has this great campsite, and no one uses it in the wintertime. And I thought, let's do an outdoor survival program. And so I had 30 grade 7 students doing outdoor survival for 4 days out of Gwillem Lake. They had to build Quonsets, they had to ration food, they had to figure out how they were going to stay warm, and it was a lot of fun. So that was kind of my goal, was to be in that grade 6, 7, work with kids. Yeah. And then taught out in Chetwynd. And it was an eye-opener for sure. I mean, I had some of my biggest challenges as a teacher out there, but also some of my biggest successes working with the kids out there.
Right.
And I mean, one student in particular, it was a grade 10 English class, and he had failed grade 10 English once before or twice before, I don't remember. It was his grade 12 school year, and he came in and he was pretty not hard-headed, but he was pretty defensive right off the hop. He wasn't looking to make friends. He's like, I just need this course to graduate. I'm hoping to get 51% and be on my way. And end of week 1, he'd kind of lean back in his chair and put his feet up on the desk and kind of postured challenging me when I called him out on his attitude. And when he challenged me, instantly I went right back at, and we just kind of elevated a couple times, and I had to kick him out of the classroom.
Right.
And he left the room, left the school. I paged down to the office to let him know that he's leaving the building, just so you're aware. And the rest of the class, I couldn't pursue him. And he like smacked the window as he walked by the classroom on his way out. And so I had a meeting with the principal, and we discussed it and everything, and said, just talk to him tomorrow when he comes in. So I was standing in the hallway waiting for the whole class to come in, and I greeted them every morning out in the hallway as they came in. And when he came up to the door, I asked him if he could step to the side so we could have a quick discussion before he went into the class. And he kind of hands in his pockets and looked down at the floor, thinking he's getting into trouble. And I said, look, I just got to apologize for how I acted in there, and I never should have escalated it the way I did. And he kind of looked at me and he's like, seriously? Yeah, no, I was out of line. I never should have done that. And he said, I've never really had anyone apologize to me before.
Wow.
And then while we were talking, he then was like, yeah, I was kind of a jerk, and I shouldn't have done that. And we had a great discussion, and never really had a problem with him the rest of the year. He passed, he graduated. After he crossed the stage, he shook my hand and said, thank you very much. And I mean, I've got a lot of amazing memories from teaching out in Chetwynd that year.
Wow.
After that, I got on at Suprise here in town and taught at our high school for 9 more years. And got in with whatever I could start teaching, and then got into automotive, teaching an automotive program. Started up a media arts program again, because I went through media arts when I was in high school and loved the program with Miss Aylward, and got that up and running. And then another teacher, Langenmeyer, he came on board, and we became good friends, and he got into the media arts, and we just kind of ran with media arts. And then I got into dual credit coordinating for the college. And so my last 3 years of teaching, I was half-time media arts teacher, half-time dual credit coordinator. And I kid you not, it was the best job in the district.
Yeah.
I went and did my master's to get into administration, but was loving my job so much that I never pursued that administration type job. They were grooming me to become a principal or a vice principal, and it was kind of that down the road, I'll get into it, but I'm just loving what I'm doing.
You're loving what you're doing. And if I could speak on a personal front, because I was in high school when you and Langenmeyer did media arts, and I was with my friend Ryan Leewood. I don't know why I'm looking under the chair for him. I was looking for my Timbits. I wasn't looking for Ryan, although, you know, he could probably be in and around. You're related to Ryan as well.
He's my cousin.
Sorry about that. But Ryan and I took your guys' media arts program, and it was incredibly influential on us and our work, and it was something that I really appreciated, because something that I've noticed is education for media arts up here is almost non-existent in terms of, especially post-secondary education. Do you find that education in media arts, because you also taught automotive and stuff, but do you find that education in media arts is a passion of yours?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And it was pretty amazing that I could line up the funding to start the program.
Yeah.
I then, once we were up and running for a couple of years, I saw a couple of videos that the school district had made for them. And I said, why don't you use your internal people to make these videos? You spent $7-8 grand on that video. And I said, we've got the equipment. And we could do project-based learning, which was a big thing when I was there, that was the focus, was project-based learning. And I was like, we could do this and have the students start creating them. I said, they could come in and pitch, or you could pitch to them what you wanted to do, and let's make this a valuable learning experience for the kids, and provide you with the content you're looking for.
Yeah.
And they said, that's kind of cool. I said, but I will need some new equipment and better equipment. And I said, if instead of paying for the commercial, buy us equipment each year that we create more ads and stuff for you. And they said, that's great. So for 2 years, I bought all new cameras for the Media Arts program and bought some new computers and stuff by selling ads, basically. But then the students actually had a job. They had to go out and pitch it and come up with the commercials.
Well, again, Ryan and I's first job, anyone in the community, we were Macwood Productions. Our first job was through that with you for City of Dawson Creek for their Waterworks program.
Nice.
That was the first ever job, professional job that we ever had.
That's awesome.
And that was through you. And so that was really interesting because that was the first time we'd ever thought, oh, maybe we could try a hand at media and media in careers, especially up here, which is kind of, not really a thing. Do you find that, because obviously down south and, in Vancouver and whatnot, we have, a number of different productions starting up and you have a number of different film schools. Do you think that there could be like some improvements with media education up here?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Not the downside, the struggle I see to that. So I got multiple thoughts here I want to touch on.
Please.
First, I think the way the world is going, we need to put more emphasis on the media, the digital world, the media arts world, however you want to look at it, the arts.
Yeah.
Yes, AI will be able to replace a lot of the positions that we were focusing on, creating ads, that sort of thing. I use AI quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it still is an extremely important career path.
Yeah.
Just modifying it, right? It's not exactly what it used to be 5 years ago. It's changed quite drastically when we look at marketing and media.
Right.
But when I was teaching media arts, I've taken all of the things that we were doing in media arts, and I've now applied them to core lanes. And starting with launching social media and just how big of a marketing tool social media has become. And it doesn't cost money. I don't pay to push ads.
Yeah.
But just creating the content, putting it out there, whether it's a visual or an audio or like a recording, it doesn't matter, a commercial or a screenshot, whatever you're creating. I'm using AI quite a bit for just my look at this cool new product that just rolled in the door that I'll take a picture and then modify it. But people need to know, A, how to use all these tools, B, how to market them better, upsell them, create better content, because anyone can create content. Now, how do we create content that stands apart?
Yeah.
So like you say, when we'd take students down to Vancouver, there's a ton of opportunities down there.
Yeah.
Up north, this is oil and gas community.
Yeah.
Why do I need to go to school to do this, to get those grades? Why do I need to focus on this when I can just go make 6 figures in the patch tomorrow? Which could dry up tomorrow. We don't know. Like there's a lot of volatility there. But yeah, in the north, we could definitely use more programs, and I don't know if that's something that our local colleges should be looking at putting on, or if it's the sort of thing that you guys are doing, where you're teaching the kids how to make commercial or make their own digital shorts and stuff too, right?
Right.
It's igniting the passion and giving them the tools to move forward with these art projects.
And do you think that idea, the last thing that you said, could apply to all of teaching, is igniting passion?
100%.
Yeah.
I feel that since I've been out, it's been 8 years since I was a teacher, and with whether it's the politics, whether it's COVID, whether it's any of these things, teaching has become a very political career, and you see a lot of people pushing agendas through it, and I think that all needs to be thrown out. When I went through the teaching program, one of the big things we focused on was, my opinion doesn't matter. It's about teaching critical thinking and teaching the basic skills and being able to dig for as much information as you can, and then be able to make your decision based off that. It doesn't have to mirror mine. And as a teacher, I never wanted my personal views, whether it's political or anything, to come across, because that's not what teachers are there to do.
Yeah.
They're there to inspire, and like you say, to mainly just to inspire kids and teach them how to think. Not what to think.
Yeah. Right. It's sort of like igniting, like you said, teaching them critical skills and then using that for their own opinions and however they do that. So then you teach for a number of years there. When did the transition start from teaching to Coeur d'Alene Sporting Goods?
Well, I taught for about 8 years, and then my mother, who was one of the 3 partners in Coeur Lanes after my grandparents sold it to their 3 kids in 1990.
Yeah.
My mom started talking about one day I will be retiring, and that's probably coming sooner than later.
Yeah.
And my wife and I talked about maybe it'd be kind of cool to get back into the family business.
Right.
But then we had to weigh out. My wife was pregnant with our first child, and we had to weigh out the pros and cons of staying a teacher and having the same schedule as my kids.
Yeah.
Summers off, spring break, Christmas, all those sorts of things, or putting in twice as many hours on the clock with running a business.
Right.
And then we had to look at the financial aspect of what does it cost to buy in. Looking at the security of teaching. It's a retirement job that I had a secure career with a pension, and I've now moved into a very volatile field when we look at the political spectrum and what's happening with gun control and those sorts of things, and had to figure out, do I want to take the risk, financial risk? Is it worth the possible reward? And so there was a lot of discussions, a lot of late nights hammering out if it was something I wanted to do. And I loved my career.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed teaching.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it came down to I'd rather regret something I did than something I didn't do. Jumped into Coeur Lanes. Fast forward, it was 2 years later. So I had taught for 10 years. Then I bought my mom out and didn't take my last summer off. I went right from teaching into jumping on board here at Coeur Lanes, and haven't looked back. I mean, I still pay my teacher's dues just in case.
Yeah.
So I'm still a certified teacher. I could jump back in. Now that my kids are getting older, I'm looking at volunteering a little more in the school. One of the things I missed the most about teaching was I was running an after-school group, and I hate to even throw it out there, but it was tied into We Day, Me to We, which is now tied in with Trudeau and a big scandal and everything. But what it was I found living in, I'll call it a wealthy northern oil and gas community.
Yeah.
Our youth had a level of entitlement, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't want it to sound bad.
Yeah.
But it's an affluent community. And so kids have the newest iPhone, the newest whatever, and may not have been focused on giving back. So running this after school group about youth helping youth, we did a lot of local initiatives, whether it was Halloween for Hunger, those sorts of things where we're looking after our own community. But then I took students twice on trips where we'd volunteer and work in orphanages and schools in third world countries.
Yeah.
And I'll say the first full day on the ground when we were down there, I had a young lady get her cell phone stolen out of her hotel room. And she was all mad because her $1,000 cell phone got stolen.
Yeah.
The very next day, we're working in an orphanage, and we worked there for 3 days. And these kids didn't speak English or many words in English. And we cleaned up their courtyard area, and then we played soccer with them. And we sang and danced with them because they listen to the same music that our kids listen to.
Yeah.
And just seeing them play together for 2 to 3 days. And then when we went to leave, it was so emotional. There were a bunch of the kids were crying, like our students were crying and upset. And a little boy came up to me, and so I kind of kneeled down, and he was 8 years old, and he patted me on the chest. And he said something in Spanish, and our tour guide started to cry. And he's like, "Do you know what he just said?" Not a clue. I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And he said, "Don't be sad for me. One day we'll run into each other in San Jose when I'm jogging down the beach, but I'll always be with you here in your heart." And then my waterworks started. Like I was stone cold up until that point. I was like, I'm good with this. But then I started to cry.
Right.
And just these kids that don't have parents. We celebrated a birthday there as well. And they brought out a birthday cake this big.
Yeah.
And there's 25 kids. And then all of our kids too, which our kids were not there to eat their cake.
Right.
And I said, "Can I run down to the corner store and grab another cake or a bigger cake?" And they said, No, why would you do that? I said, "Well, there's lots of kids." And they said, "But who's going to do it when you're gone?"
Right.
For the next birthday.
Sets up that expectation.
Right. And so it was kind of a whoa moment. And so, yeah, that young lady who had her cell phone stolen that night when we're all sitting around debriefing and trying to unwind from what we had just been through, she was like, here I was all upset yesterday over my cell phone getting stolen. And these kids are just happy to have shoes on their feet. And they're outside kicking a soccer ball around. We brought down like 30 soccer balls we left with them. and they were just happy as could be because they had shoes on their feet and a warm meal. And she's like, my cell phone isn't that important. So just to see that shift in how everyone thought after working with all these orphan kids was pretty crazy. So I mean, we were doing worked at a wildlife sanctuary. We rebuilt a bunch of trails in the wildlife sanctuary. We did a reforestation project, and then just worked in these orphanages and schools. And it was just some of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
Right.
And so that's the stuff that I'd say I miss the most. That as my kids get older, I want to get back into doing that sort of thing. But I think it'll have to be outside of the school system, just with the way liability goes.
Yeah.
A lot of schools don't want to do that sort of thing. I mean, I did 2 trips down South America, and then I also took a group of students to China for 3 weeks, which was crazy.
Wow. When was that? Like what year?
Would have been about 10 years ago. So yeah, 2016-ish,
Wow.
right around there. 2017 maybe. It might have been my last year teaching.
Yeah.
So kind of a cool opportunity.
And I think I would imagine COVID too kind of changed that. You know, obviously we're out of the pandemic now, but I think it kind of changes, you know, how open we are to going to different places and stuff like that. It's changed some things.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I struggled with where I could take the students under the school board.
Yeah.
If I did it on my own, I could have taken them anywhere, but I wasn't even allowed on the school property to have a meeting about it.
Oh, really?
If it wasn't through the school. They're like, you can't meet here, you can't use us for advertising, nothing. You can do it on your own, and you can meet at Tim Hortons with the parents and stuff.
But you can't do it at the...
Yeah, like we were trying to go to Africa. But again, we were very specific on where we were going. There were hundreds of school groups going to these locations and stuff. But the school board turned that down. So that's why we went with Costa Rica. They allowed that. It's not so much a third world country, it's more of a second world country. They have medical, and they have, there's really not a lot of begging there because they have like a welfare system as well too.
Right.
So
right.
Not quite a third world. Whereas, I mean, there's a lot of places I'd love to offer to bring students. Maybe one day I'll get back into that, running the business.
Takes up a lot of your time.
Takes up, and it's not just one. We've got a small tech company called Ballistics Custom Turrets, which is just an online gig that I got a guy over there laser engraving yardage turrets. We won't get into that too deep.
Yeah.
But between that, Core Lanes, we're building the brand of our own custom rifles, Rocky Mountain Rifles, doing all the social media for that. So we got an Instagram. We've built custom rifles for some celebrities. We've got one coming up that we can't talk about who it is yet, but stay tuned. Hopefully heading down south for a presentation of this one for a celebrity. But
oh, cool.
Brett Kissel, we built him one. We got a new TV show that we're working with that you've been part of filming.
I have been.
We built them a couple of rifles, and then a bunch of, we'll call them hunting celebrities. We built guns for them, and a lot of them have come here looking to get a gun built, which is cool. We're not pursuing them so much, but yeah.
And kind of talking a bit more, you mentioned it, Finding Nowhere, the show that you're involved with now. And, you know, obviously you had a passion for media, education and media arts as well in the school system, and now you're doing projects and helping bring projects to the forefront and working on projects that are shooting in this area. Is that just a natural extension for you from that? Yeah,
for sure. So it was something that I didn't really have anything to do with it up front, and it's kind of cool seeing how everything has grown and progressed, and how one opportunity has led to another. So from teaching, coming into the business, this business introduced me to some really cool people. One of my customers introduced me to the host of Finding Nowhere, and we kind of became buddies, and he wanted to come film up in the Peace region, and he wanted to buy his first rifle through us because our mutual friend, Rob Blair, said, you got to buy your gun from Core Lanes. So that became, season 1, episode 1 is filming in Dawson Creek, around Dawson Creek, and it grew from there. So season 2 now, they've asked me to be a bigger part of the production, and behind the scenes, I'm lining up a lot of the things for them. We're actually set to go to New Zealand and Australia.
Oh, excellent.
In March, like just coming up, it's just around the corner.
Yeah.
And so we'll be filming over there, but having the media arts background and then the sporting goods background, and being an outdoor person, have tied right in with Finding Nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of cool doing a lot more of the behind the scene things with Finding Nowhere because of my background in media arts.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just a natural transition in. So finding nowhere, I can't say where it's going to stream until they finish it's right now under technical review with the major streaming platforms, and as soon as that passes, it's a go. So we're pretty excited to highlight the Peace region and Dawson Creek and highlight the cool businesses here.
100%.
And just to point out Dawson Creek in a positive light with respect of a lot of negative things that are going on in the Peace region. So we're getting a lot of bad publicity, where this is cool to highlight some really cool things happening in Dawson.
Without going into specifics, obviously, we do know what those bad things are, and it's kind of gotten a bad rep as of late. Do you think shows like that, and even just the work that you do and other people do in the community, do you think that helps kind of not get rid of it, but what helps that image in a way and kind of shows us who we truly are as a community?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Dawson Creek has always been a sleepy little community, a farming community. And I'll say, if you're not lurking in the shadows, you don't see a lot of the terrible things going on in the community. Growing up here, I've got a lot of friends that they never locked their doors. Like, I used to walk into my friend's house as a teenager, and just they knew I'd just go into the basement and we'd hang out. It was an open door policy community. It's not quite that way anymore, but if you're not living in the shadows, you're not going to see a lot of that dark underworld until people put it on social media.
Right.
The oil and gas, which is a double-edged sword, has really bolstered our economy, but it has brought a lot of transient people and spare spending money, and then that increases the drug world and everything else, right? So you do see a lot more of that being highlighted. And I mean, Dawson Creek, people are talking about the gang wars going on and everything, and the missing people and stuff, and it's tragic. But for the most part, if you're not looking for it, it's not blatantly out there. So I still can't think of another place I'd rather live at this point in my life.
You don't think you would move anywhere else?
Not planning on. I mean, we opened another store in Prince George. I could have went there to help run that store. My wife and I and our kids and our family are here, and this is where we want to raise our family.
That's really cool. And so, with that being said, and kind of jumping back to Finding Nowhere, that show revolves around hunting and Joel and Ryan going out on a hunt and also learning different tools and whatnot. Talking about hunting, because that is a big part of Coeur Lane's. What was your relationship like with hunting, especially growing up?
So as a kid, I spent a lot of time in the wilderness with my parents, and it was our whole family, my sister, my mom, my dad, and I, whether we were truck hunting out in some of the now vastly opened up areas. Back then, they were just little goat trails that we'd go 4x4ing down. Or we'd load up the four-wheelers and go quadding. And I have so many fond memories of quadding with the family. Some turned into disasters where blew the axle, blew this, wrecked that, and then had to hike out and didn't bring enough food, and so you're starving on your hike out of the bush. But I still remember them. It was great. The boat breaks down up the river, and it was supposed to be a quick 1-hour test drive, turned into where we're coming off the water at 11 p.m. Kind of thing, with no food. So I mean, I've got great memories of being in the outdoors. I personally wasn't the one behind the gun. It was my dad, but it was our family activities that we do quite often. Hunting and fishing, and then I'll never forget my dad and Doug Russell, whose wife actually works here still.
Oh, really?
Took me when I was 14 on my first deer hunt, where I was behind the trigger, and I remember it like it was yesterday. And we'll call it the emotion of it, the excitement, the shake, the nervousness, the what if I miss, what if I wound it. Your brain goes through so many things in that moment. But then when you harvest your first animal, there's always remorse because you have taken a life, but then there's the excitement that you've outsmarted that animal in its natural habitat, and you can now feed your family for the next year off that one animal. So that was my first. I mean, I was hunting grouse. My mom used to pick my sister and I up after school when my dad was away at camp. And she'd take us onto Bear Mountain, and we'd chicken hunt. And we'd fill the back of her car with chickens. We'd shoot 10 or 15 chickens, and take turns stepping on the wings, pulling on the feet. I don't know if you've ever hunted a chicken, but and so I mean, I've got a great relationship with it, and as I got older and got back into the business, I've actually got into it quite heavily. And whether it's going out with other people, like I went with Ryan on a goat hunt, not filmed for the TV show, but went with him just for the experience to be hiking the mountains for 3 days and seeing if we can find a goat.
Yeah.
So yeah,
right.
So I love it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty rewarding to harvest one elk and feed my family for the next year and a half.
Is that kind of the main thing with you? Obviously, it's like the adventure of it, right? But is it also like providing for your family? Is that a big part of it for you?
Well, and you look at the cost of buying beef today. When I can go out and harvest one elk, feed the family for a year and a half, and to know that I put that food on the table and there's no meat cleaner than wild meat. There's no hormones in it. You look at the density of protein per ounce. A wild meat is much higher than beef even, and it's the most dense protein that you can consume, and it's the healthiest, and it's low in fat. So there's so many aspects and so many positive outcomes to hunting. The double-edged sword, though, I will say, is we live in the Serengeti of the North. There are so many animals here that you can just go buy an over-the-counter tag. I won't get into the political side of battling the government over hunting rights. They shut down the moose there a couple of years ago. But the double-edged sword is we're promoting hunting, but on the flip side, there's not enough hunting available for everyone to do it.
Right.
So as much as I like to promote it, it's also I want you hunting, but not in my backyard kind of thing, right? So there's that dichotomy between promoting it but not exploiting it, and so that's definitely something that we struggle with. That balance.
It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
And talking about the North and whatnot, do you think there's a different relationship to hunting than up here in the North than down south?
Oh, do you mean in the public eye?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I mean, for example, you walk through the halls at the high school here, and half the kids are hunters, and if they don't get caught with them, half the kids are packing a pocket knife. Not because they're trying to shank somebody, it's just they're outdoor kids.
Right.
And that's the lifestyle that they grew up with, and people are very open to it. I mean, whether it's an animal, having an elk head in the back of the truck in the school parking lot is no big deal. Whatever. I mean, Vancouver, like I went to university down there. It was very anti-hunting. Right. And it's just city life. Right. And a lot of it comes down to ignorance, just not knowing about hunting.
Exactly. Could you just move that to a wide, sorry? My single? Just keep it going. And, sorry, you were saying?
Oh, yeah, like living in the city, it's just an ignorance, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just they're not aware of what it's like to hunt. Or my brother-in-law, for example, was the kind of person that was like, I'll never have a firearm in my home until he came up here. We took him out to the gun range. He's like, this was awesome. I had a lot of fun. And then he got into hunting when, after coming along on a couple trips. So, I mean, it's one of those things that without exposure, guns are bad, right? All people know that guns are used for is crime. Right. So until they see them used in a positive light. I mean, as a kid, a gun was a tool for me. Right. It was, and my parents were very strict. There is no messing around with it. You never pointed out. You treat every gun as if it's loaded. Gun safety is just like table saw safety is the utmost importance when operating it, right? Right. So it never even came into effect that, oh, go play with the 22. No, that's a tool with one purpose, and we can go out and shoot pop cans and stuff, but that's a hunting tool. Right, 100%. Yeah. Do you find, especially working here, there are like misconceptions about hunting? 100%. Yeah, there are a lot of, well, you know what, I'll say with people like Joe Rogan and Cameron Hanes and a lot of these celebrity hunters, they've really changed it, and there's a lot more of, we'll call it a positive outlook on hunters instead of the Elmer Fudd when I was a kid. That was the hunter. The dim-witted guy that goes into the woods and is outsmarted by the animals, or the hunter that is drinking beer and throwing it at the road signs while driving down the backcountry road. That was kind of the perception, even though that wasn't the reality, right? Right. Where now you've got these people promoting healthy eating, healthy lifestyles, and that has changed it for a lot of people. COVID was really good for this industry. There were so many people that got into hunting and fishing because they wanted to get their own meat, because the price of everything going up over, and some people were like, yeah, with the way the world's going, I wouldn't mind owning a firearm. And so there were a lot of people that got into this industry at that point. Right, right. And you have, obviously, there's misconceptions in that, and
and you have, you know, your passion for running the store and for, you know, providing something to the community. What's your favorite part of like working at Corlane's and how that works?
The relationships and the people that I get to meet.
Yeah.
I don't get super excited about going and standing on the floor and selling someone a product. Don't get me wrong. I love when I am down there just for the fact that people come in here to buy a toy for their passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're excited to buy a new fishing rod, or they're excited to buy a new firearm or whatever, right? So you're normally having very positive interactions with the staff or with the customers.
Right.
But for me, it's kind of cool to see what my grandparents had built and have taken it to the next level. We opened a store in Prince George.
Yeah.
We're in discussion about what does future expansion look like.
Yeah.
So to look at that 1,000-foot view of the business and how can we run it better and how can we grow the business. That's one of the things that I absolutely love. But then the opportunities and the people I get to meet, like Joel and Ryan.
Would you have met them without?
I wouldn't have met them without it. John and Jen Rivet in Alberta, they guide Joe Rogan, Cameron Haynes, bunch of celebrities hunting over here. They become good friends, and that's who I went to the UFC with last year. They invited us Joe Rogan seats, like fifth row back.
Wow.
Where I shook Dana White's hand. We had our own private security, who has now become, Dustin Burt's become a buddy of mine. He runs the security for the UFC.
Oh, wow.
We built him a custom rifle and sent it down to him last year.
Wow.
And he was texting me just a couple weeks ago. Like the connections and the people that I've got to meet in this industry have been amazing. And so just building the network of amazing people that all have passions for the outdoors is probably my favorite part of the job.
Is there a part of you that would go back to teaching in addition to doing this? Like, obviously it's taking up a lot of your time and it's really busy, especially here running a business. It takes up all of your time and energy, but would you be willing to go back to teaching or even substituting?
I've thought about putting my name on the substitute list, but more for the fact to be able to do more things with the kids when they have outings, but I can just volunteer and do that stuff. My short answer is yes, I would. My long answer is no, I don't see it actually happening because of how I don't want to do two jobs poorly. I want to do one job well.
Right.
If this career grew into a point, let's say I opened up 5 locations. That's not where I'm focused on right now. But let's say there were 5 locations. I had managers running them all, and I could step back and be like, wow, cool. They don't need me here anymore. I might consider it. I do really struggle with the politics and education right now. And if that's something I'd want to bang my head against the wall dealing with that, it might be one of those things that maybe I would then look at teaching a passion project at the college. Maybe a media arts program. What's that next level look like, or something like that, right? But just the way things are going now, this is 100% of my time, and I want to do it correctly.
And obviously, you're like I said, a strong member of our community, and we're very lucky to have you. So thank you for providing everything for the community, and happy birthday as well.
Thank you very much.
I think we had great success with our balloons. If we want to just show the balloons off right now. So as you can see, these lovely balloons are Aaron's that he just blew up. These are mine. So I think we're pretty even in that regard. Pretty much. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, man. Again, like I said, it's great to have you here, and great for the work that you do in the community. So thank you. It was an honor that you reached out to ask if I'd be a guest. Yeah, of course. Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad you could suffer my buffoonery. It can be a lot sometimes. I'd gladly do it again. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our show here today. Thank you again, Aaron, for taking the time to talk with us. And we'll see you on Wednesday, 10 a.m. with Ian from Folky Strum Strum. Take care and be kind to each other. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't get the...